The Bengals have, in our game recap, the Bengals beat the Chiefs 27-24, which we'll talk about more in depth in a minute. And the Rams beat the 49ers 2017. So I picked the Bengals to win, and I picked the 49ers to win. The Bengals won, but the 49ers lost, basically making my record 2-12 in the playoffs. At this point, the Rams are favored in the Super Bowl, however. But let's talk about what the 49ers didn't do and what the Rams did. I think really just the Rams' defensive game plan caused problems for the 49ers. They could not do the things that they're so good at, which is they are very reliant on Deebo Samuel. They are very reliant on George Kittle. When those things don't work all the time, they have problems. And they had problems throughout the whole postseason, really, when Deebo's been banged up or hasn't been able to get it going a little bit and then finds a way to get it going. And George Kittle struggled with the catches in some spots, not in others. You saw chips in the armor, and the Rams had a good game plan. I was not a fan of Sean McVay using both challenges, losing both of them, and having no timeouts for the last 6 minutes of the game. I don't agree with that. I just don't. But they made less mistakes than the 49ers did. And for the Bengals and Chiefs, Bengals, this game went to overtime. The overtime rules do need to be fixed, I think. But let's just go through it this way. The Bengals played had a great game plan in the second half. The Chiefs looked pedestrian. But I want to talk about this Chiefs collapse. The Chiefs collapse, I think, has to be documented. This is the second time where they tried to go for it against the Bengals and did not score, and going into halftime with anyways between an 11-point lead or a 17-point lead. A 17-18-point lead. That's the problem. They don't play well. The Chiefs went for it with 5 seconds to go in the second quarter on the Bengals 5-yard line and couldn't punch it in. It was a great tackle by Eli Apple. It was fantastic. Tyreek Hill did not get to the end zone. Which, again, Mahomes, just not knowing the situation, tried to call timeout when there was no timeouts left. And I think that really changed the whole momentum. Now, again, Andy Reid has taken that. He's like, that was me. That was me. Still, that's a problem. Now, I didn't like the Chiefs' game plan in the second half because I thought, why are they throwing it so much? They've been so good on the ground. Bengals can't stop you on the ground. But they threw it so much to the point that if I can remember correctly, Mahomes was 9 of 20 in the second half. That's terrible. That can't happen. Now, granted, he missed some throws and some of the players drop passes. That does happen. But when you have Kelsey dropping passes and Hill dropping passes, back-to-back plays, that's just critical at that point. That you messed that up. That was very hard to deal with. But if I'm the Bengals, you played well in the second half. You kind of got it going in the second half, and then you started just taking him to school on it. I think a great job that the Bengals did was they took all the clock away in the fourth quarter. 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They dropped that down to 6. They dropped it down to about 6 minutes. And then the Chiefs took it down to like the final 15-30 seconds, and then called timeout with 2 seconds to go to overtime. But I really think this, and I agree with Rex Ryan what he said on Get Up this morning, it looked like he lost his confidence. It looked like Mahomes lost his confidence. Where Burrow was getting sacked or almost sacked at points and then was breaking out of it and getting a first down and doing these things and was just finding ways to continue moving the ball, no matter if he was throwing it to Chase or T. Higgins or Joe Mixon or whoever it was, he found a way to get the ball there, which is impressive and hard for a young quarterback to do. For Mahomes, he was running around, just kept running around. The annoying thing when you face Mahomes is the fact that you can't, it's not just guard your guys. We now got to stop Mahomes from running around and moving and doing all these things. But I think a crazy thing that happened for the Chiefs was the final couple of seconds in the game. The last play before the field goal by the Chiefs to go into overtime, Mahomes is running around for the last 6-7 plays. And on the last play where he's doing it, he's running around, he fumbles the ball. The Bengals only bring 3, and then they bring a delay, and Mahomes can't escape, and he fumbles. Now, he was like one of the offensive linemen was right there to kick it and go into so it gave Butker a chance to go into overtime. Then you win the coin toss, but then with 13 seconds into the overtime period, you throw an interception. That cannot happen if you're the Kansas City Chiefs. You can't throw the ball into a bad spot. It was a great play by Jesse Bates to tip the ball away from Tyreek Hill and have Von Bell, who was in pursuit, just catch the ball and make a good play on it. But you can't. And the thing I think the problem is this. They've overthrown. There's times where the Chiefs look really good because they're patient. They didn't look patient in the second half. They were trying to move the ball. Fine. But if you can't do it and you're overthrowing wide receivers and you're missing wide receivers or wide receivers are dropping passes and all these things are happening, you can't do that. You're winning the game. Stop trying to do all these flashy things all the time. There was a thing I learned in cooking, actually. It says, I would rather be cooking whatever I'm cooking, I'd rather have it cooked properly through with no flashiness about it than I'd rather have something that has flash and has fire on it all the time and not cooking properly. That is, I think, the Chiefs. The Chiefs are not a team that can just go and say, I want to cook this properly. They want to be flashy while doing it. And there's times that's good, and there's times that's really bad. And they just ended up being the Chiefs ended up being on the short side of the stick in that scenario against the Bengals. But congratulations to both the Bengals and the Rams, who are going to the Super Bowl 56, in Los Angeles.